What do I mean when I say that the world isn't built or designed for autistic people? A lot of people, or well, some people, I suppose, seem to have taken this very badly, and well, the world isn't designed for anyone. Why should you be so special that the world is designed for you? Which seems to me to be a very negative way of looking at things. The fact of the matter is that everything in life is designed with the majority in mind, and the way that I can kind of create an analogy for this is through height. Okay, I'm very tall. I'm 6'7" or so, and I can say with tremendous certainty that the world isn't built for my height either. Okay, I'm not saying that it should be necessarily, because people who are my height are relatively rare. But just think about it for a second. The world is built for the majority height. Average of 5'8", 5'10", I suppose. So when we're talking about things that are height dependent, things like doorways, clothing, I suppose shoes come into this, the height of windows, the height of kitchen work surfaces, the length of the tube on a vacuum cleaner, all these many things that are, very much predicated on average height, the bell curve of height, are built with average heights in mind. And the world that we see, certainly in our areas, is built with the average height of people in that country or region very heavily in mind. Of course it is. I'm perfectly aware and familiar with that. I get a bad back from washing up, from ironing, from doing anything that involves, working on a surface that is too low for me. The point of this is that the world is definitely built and designed with the average in mind. So if you're autistic, or you're ADHD, or you're dyspraxic, or you're neurodivergent in any way, of course you're not fitting the average. You're not fitting the neuro majority, what you might call the neurotypical, whatever that means. And therefore, things are more difficult, in the same way that it's more difficult for me to find trousers that fit. Being neurodivergent in a world built for the neuro majority, the neuro average, is difficult. So when we talk about adjustments, it's not... I'm worried about kind of minimizing the issue here. I'm aware that it's not quite the same thing as the height thing, but I think it's a useful analogy to get into your head, how it works. It's a bit like, if I go out of my way, I can find trousers that are long enough. That's an adjustment that the world has created. They've noticed there's a market there for very tall people, and they've thought, okay, well, we can make a bit of money by, selling trousers to these giants. That's fine. Reasonable adjustments are like that, only a little bit more fair-minded. It's looking at the world and realizing, oh my word, there are all these people out there whose brains are significantly different and work in a different way, and the world as we've created it is really not suitable for them, and it's causing them tremendous harm. So let's do what we can to minimize that. That's what we're talking about collectively when we talk about, changing the world or making the world a better place for neurodivergent people. We're not saying that that everything has to be knocked down and started again, although, if I'm honest with you, there are certain areas where that might be beneficial, education being a big one. We're just saying that, look, as things stand, for whatever reason, and I suppose just automatically, the world is built with the average in mind. So if you're an outlier in any way, if you're divergent in any way, you're going to struggle to a greater or lesser extent. The point is that we're very aware of the fact that the struggle that autistic people face is significant enough that our life expectancy is way shorter, our rates of depression and suicidal ideation and suicidal attempts are way higher. So clearly there's a massive problem here. It's not the same as me getting a bit of a bad back from, using the work surface or not being able to find shoes that fit. This is a significant problem. So the imperative is even higher to do something about it. So ultimately, the world isn't built for autistic people, and we do need to do something about it. That's what I mean by that.